Quant is a general stage that attempts to interface alongside other blockchains and work with interoperability across the area. While it may not display the radiance and in general praise of Ethereum or Bitcoin, its neighborhood token Qnt was one of the hero hypotheses of 2021. As DeFi continues to flood in worth and omnipresence, so too does the multifaceted nature of associations and stages, expected to convey the ceaselessly imaginative organizations. Additionally, that is where exercises like Quant come in. The Quant network makes an overledger blockchain close by its neighborhood token Qnt to work with interoperability between various other blockchains, effectively allowing different overall associations to interface and talk with each other while remaining decentralized, taking into account that the fundamental DeFi projects are dynamically dovetailing with various shows. The potential gains of undertakings, for instance Quant, should be undeniable. Likewise, in case it isn't the way that Qnt's cost is boasting a general return for cash contributed over 96.25, should go about as a showing of its continuous premium. Quant, a principal development to your Endeavor portfolio, is too in the going with Quant cost assumption for 2025 and 2030. Well, look at the Endeavor in extra detail and sorting out why it has such a ton of potential. Well, similarly take a gander at gauges from driving specialists to sort out how they guess that Qnt ought to perform all through the following couple of years. The gathering behind the errant Quant was shipped off in 2018. Prime ally Gilbert Verdian at first worked in the clinical benefits region, where he comprehended the meaning of interoperability by perceiving how patients ought to have been enrolled across different stages. Before setting up, he consumed 20 years as a principal information security office, redesigning the security and development of overall associations, meaning he conveyed a ton of expertise to the stage right from the beginning. Dr. Paulo Tasca, the other prime ally of the undertaking, was by then a spread-out monetary trained professional and mechanized monetary expert, with circled systems being his vitally branch of knowledge. Among his critical certificates is a stretch as Blockchain Development's Council for the EU Parliament, the brought together nations, and a couple of huge banks put forward. Evidently the man knows an incredible arrangement. How does Quant answer? The Quant Association uses overledger advancement to robotize the trust capacities between various blockchains. It has been advanced as the super working system worked for blockchains, offering a phase that can interact networks from around the world, offering steady interoperability. The overledger convenience is the basic piece of the Quant show and has allowed it to add any similarity to Bitcoin, Ethereum and Wave records. As things stand, Quant is one of the top endeavors conveying real interoperability to the blockchain business, and that limit, it might conceivably help the business with everything taken into account, take things with cherishing DeFi to a more significant level. So what is overledger? As we've noted above, overledger has been portrayed as a blockchain working framework, giving a phase where multi-chain applications can be worked without fashioners being ruined by the complexities related with consolidating with all the different blockchains. In some sense, it might be seen as a comprehensive blockchain in which various stages ought to use its neighborhood token Quant to ensure the trustworthiness of the structure and to pay for costs, etc. The interior exercises of overledger are unreasonably stunning to be totally isolated here. But effectively, the plan is isolated into various layers. Trade layer oversees torquing trades using record advancement. It is home to movements of every sort, which are supposed to show up at the understanding in a couple blockchain spaces. Illuminating layer handles any additional information that comes from various records. A splendid arrangement. Data, trade data, and metadata. Isolating and mentioning layer furthermore oversees messages, expressly those containing trade information. The full layer moreover spreads out relationship between messages. Starting in the illuminating layer, application layer handles information that can revive any critical applications appropriate to them. The layer licenses different applications to share messages or allude to messages associated with various applications. When crucial, the Quant token, the Quant cryptographic cache, is an ERC-20 representative, which finally controls the whole endeavor. Architects need QNT in the event that they want to develop the overledger. From the start they pay for licenses to use the Quant association with government-provided cache, which is then truly changed over into QNT tokens and got into the stage for the fashioners to use. QNT is furthermore used in much the same way by clients wanting to get to organizations on the stage. The QNT token has a circumnavigating supply of 12,072,738 out of a restriction of 146 million tokens. As use of the stage increases, so too will the interest for QNT. This suggests that the total number of the tokens anticipated that for permission, should the stage could change, depending upon how much the tokens are worth and the quantity of stay accessible for use, which could show key estimations for conceivable investors. Looking at Quant's worth history. If we look at Quant's expense history, since it was first kept back in a surprisingly long time, truly see a really predictable upwards bearing with extensively less unusualness than we could expect. The representative start traded at around 050 in July, but by October it had shown up at balance with the dollar. At the point when January 2019 appeared, QNT had hit 206, basically a month sometime later. The token had gone past 403. Quant saw a slight downturn, making ready to summer 2019, with costs plunging back underneath the 2 mark, yet by July, it had shown up at an emblematic expense of 1244. This turned out to be something of a high point regardless, and QNT finished the year at an ordinary trading cost of 367. The token was soon bullish again, and by September 2020, it had before long came to 10. It then at that point continued to rise, peaking at 1401 in December. Clearly 2021 was when things genuinely took off for Quant. By February, the token had overwhelmed to 4492, an expense which it essentially grasped until May when another ascent took it to 5707. This was just a little detail inside. Greater scenes stood out from what was to come. Having gone past 80 in July 2021, QNT started an uncommon expense run that beat on September 11th, with the emblematic showing up at its record-breaking high of 42,742, a period of flimsiness then at that point followed, and in the end, Quant went into decline, ultimately finishing the year at 17,833. Regardless, this really meant an augmentation of over 1,000 year-on-year watts. Immediately Quant QNT worth assumptions for 2025. It's most probable, truly clear by this stage, that Quant might conceivably be vital to the cryptographic currency market as it continues to progress. Regardless, particular capabilities aside, finally, what monetary benefactors are looking for is a nice return. So considering this, we ought to contemplate a piece of the top Quant cost assumptions for 2025, according to Quant cost assumption. We can guess that Quant QNT ought to trade above 200 for a huge piece of the last piece of 2022, going before continuing